Hey, I'm Steph.
And I'm Alex.
And we want to welcome you to our podcast,
The Film Bros.
A podcast where we discuss the movies we love without any judgment or film snobbery. It's a twice-a-week escape where we will reflect, review, and ruffle. Well, today, Alex, on the podcast, we are going to need a bigger boat.
Hey, we said it. Everybody drink.
That's right. Today we are talking about the one and only, the original summer blockbuster.
That's not right.
Wow,
I lost it. I lost it with the
pretty-
French horn. I lost it.
I thought it was a great French horn. Okay. Well, we'll be talking about Jaws.
Guys, we're talking about Jaws. And it's a special day today, right, Steph?
It is. So I don't know if it is exactly today or if it was over the weekend, but it is the 48th anniversary. Jaws came out in 1975. There was a big anniversary of
Holy
Jaws.
crap. It's the 48th anniversary.
48th.
How could that have been 48 years ago? That's crazy.
Scary.
Do you do that thing where like all of your time references are still from the year 2000? So you're like 20 years ago, that was 1980. Like,
of course. Yeah, no, 2000 is now.
Yeah, 2000 is now, guys.
2000 is now. And that's how things work.
America hasn't a care in the world.
Yeah, wild. For some reason, like, yes, it feels like it's an old movie. It doesn't feel like it's that old.
Not at all. And
No.
I think it's because it's so expertly directed
I agree.
by favorite of the podcast, Steven effing Spielberg. Man, is this a well-directed movie. Before we jump into Jaws, do you have a movie moment of the week?
You know my movie moment, Alex.
Well, you know mine. Because
Yeah.
we were supposed to have an episode last week, guys. Didn't work out.
Sorry we weren't here. We both were plagued.
Yeah.
So
We both were plagued.
plagued. Yes, I sadly it was almost 2 weeks ago now. I had COVID.
Oh, for the first time, right?
Yeah, well, no, I have had it. I've tested positive and needed to quarantine before, but I've actually never had any symptoms before. So I just thought I was, immune to symptoms in the clear. And wow, it hurt this time. It really took one out of me. So I realized I had it. I felt really, really sick. I took a test. It was positive, and literally the moment that happened, my central AC broke.
That's just the worst thing I could imagine.
In the middle of a heat wave. So
in Jersey City.
In Jersey City. And obviously I needed quarantine. I couldn't leave. And I was stuck in an apartment with no air. And I just hugged ice packs. And I hoped.
Tell me how you're supposed to breathe with no air. Can't breathe with no air.
Wow, what a great song. Yeah, it was horrible. And I'm very grateful to my landlord. Was actually lovely. He, it's like a 2-unit. He lives below us, and he brought up some window units for now, so we're alive. Everything's okay.
You're better. You're feeling better.
I feel great now. I was really fatigued though. It took me out.
You're the kind of person you're kind of a tough cookie. You don't normally get very sick. So
no. Yeah, I don't, and I have trouble admitting that I feel sick to myself. Like, I'll usually be like, no, but I'm fine, as I'm like sweating and dying, and like I'll just be like, no, it's okay. But this time it was not. And I really for I would say like a full week, I was pretty out of commission, and now we're all better, but
I'm glad.
Ouch.
Bummer.
And,
double whammy.
It was a double whammy, but it was kind of funny in some ways. Like, I literally just had a fan this close to my face, and I was hugging an ice pack, and I was like, it's fine, everything's gonna be okay.
So sorry.
How about you? How was your illness?
Yeah, well, I also had kind of a double whammy. I wasn't going to talk about it on the podcast, but I've like had some time, and I actually would like to address it on the podcast.
Okay.
I had the best week. I went to see John Williams in concert. It was truly, that was going to be my movie moment, because it was truly one of the best nights of my entire life. I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl, and him conducting the Jurassic Park theme and Indiana Jones and so much Star Wars, like Under the Stars in Hollywood. It,
Wow.
my brain was
Yeah.
marinated in happy chemicals. And I was
Gorgeous.
like feeling so great. I went to a comedy show with some friends. I was just having this great week where I was like really enjoying spending time with my friends and going out. And I was like
Yeah.
feeling really good about myself. And like
Yeah.
one night, in the same night, around midnight, I got a terrifying phone call
Oh
from
my
a
God, that's
blocked number, uh, basically who said my name and then was basically vaguely sexually threatening and
mm-hmm.
heavy breathing into the phone, which
Mm-hmm.
already worst thing ever.
It's
Um,
terrifying.
guys, don't do that.
Don't do that to people. It's not funny. It's not
It's really
cool.
not.
It's
I'm laughing
really
about it right now,
scary.
but I talked to you about it. Like it
Oh, me,
wasn't.
yes.
Yeah, it was not funny at the time.
No. Oh, it's not ever funny to in the
No.
middle of the night get a terrifying phone call. Like
Yeah,
it's
it
so
was a blocked
scary.
ID. Somebody had intentionally blocked their number and was heavy breathing into the phone and then said my name and then said that basically that they were interested in me. And
Ugh.
it was deeply upsetting.
Yeah,
And I
horrifying.
don't think it was any of our listeners because you guys rock, but it
No,
was
I feel like you guys are
someone.
pretty chill.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be preaching to the choir here, but just in case anybody doesn't know this, don't do that to
Yeah, it's
anyone
not
ever. And I would like to just put in a special personal request that nobody does it to me. Thank you.
and just don't do it to me either.
Don't. Yeah, it was horrible, and I'd love it to never happen again. So that was
Sure.
the first whammy of the night, and then a couple hours later, bam, neurovirus.
Beautiful. A
Horribly,
beautiful
horribly ill
succession.
for 3 days.
Oh, do
Yeah.
you feel better now?
I finally do, but
Good.
man,
Knocked
this
you
was the
out.
kind of stomach flu that I haven't had since like school. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
they're horrible.
Just, I was so dehydrated. It
Oh,
was awful, awful, awful. And I
and it's
watched a
so
lot
hot.
of bad movies
Did
and Speed. I watched Speed for the first time. That wasn't
you?
bad. I loved that.
You've never seen Speed?
No, did you know that Speed is actually not really about a bus?
Yeah, I did. But are you just thinking of
The
that
whole
like
first part of it is about
famous?
elevators.
Yeah,
And then a bus and then another bus and then the
yeah.
subway. It's about vehicles. And I
It's
really feel
about
like
movement.
the way that that movie is advertised
Is
makes
just
you
a
think it's going
bus.
to be just about a bus.
You're not wrong. It every piece of media you've ever seen about Speed is them in a bus.
Sure is.
So you're not wrong.
Yeah,
But
I was
it's
like
really
20 minutes
about
in, I was like, where's the bus?
it's really about like things that move fast.
I'll tell you what it's about. It's about
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock having the best chemistry ever.
they do.
They
Electric.
do. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Oh, but I watched a bunch of movies
When you were
while I
sick,
was sick as well.
what
I
was the
watched
standout?
I watched all 3 of the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
Wow, that second one.
Kalima.
Yeah.
I actually do like the second one more than the third one because I love Willie.
What?
I
Oh,
identify with her.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I see it.
The
She's
screaming
fun.
and the crying. Yeah.
Yeah. How, oh my gosh, when he's like, now would be good. Now's a good time. She's like, ah.
With the bugs.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Yeah. No, me too, deep
And when
down.
she's
But
like sitting on the bed and like trying to seduce him, and he's like walking around starting projects.
yeah, yeah. It's
So
great.
funny.
I
I
love
love
the
their
third one.
dynamic. I mean, I'm a diehard Marianne and Indy shipper, but I liked
Oh,
the Willie
yeah.
and Indy dynamic.
Yeah. The third one I love, except I really, really, really dislike Sean Connery.
Can't stand the man. And
Can't
I
stand
also
him.
didn't like Kate Capshaw's character. No, sorry. No. Sorry.
Uh,
Kate Capshaw was Willie. I'm sorry. I meant the
oh,
other blonde lady in the third one. Kate Capshaw is Steven Spielberg's wife. They met when she did
really?
that movie.
Oh, I love
He married Willie.
that. Oh my gosh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. It's so sweet.
I know.
I love
Speaking of
love.
Steven Spielberg, I love
Yeah.
love too. Um, speaking of
Shall we
Steven
jaw?
Spielberg, let's jaw. You want to know a little bit about the score?
I would love to.
All right. Well, checking the score. The score is by John Williams, who I did just see in concert, and he is 95, and he did a little lightsaber fight with the other conductor, and it was the best day of my life. He composed it. It's one of the most iconic scores of all time. It's
Yes.
two notes. It's an E and an F, or
Ooh.
sometimes identified as an F and an F sharp. But two chromatic notes. instantly iconic, instant villain. I love that part in The Holiday when Jack Black is talking about all the film scores and he's like, two
Oh,
notes and you've got a villain.
Jack Black is hot in that movie.
We come Christmas time, guys, we're going to talk about The Holiday and you're going to hear all of our opinions about how Jack Black is hotter than Jude Law.
Oh, by a mile. Sorry,
Easily.
Jude. You're beautiful, but you're no Jack.
So Williams described the theme as, quote, grinding away at you, just like a shark would do, instinctual, relentless, unstoppable, which I thought was cool. And I think
great.
it is what it sounds like. It's the melody is played on a tuba.
I love a tuba.
Yeah. And it should be played on a French horn because it's written in the French horn register. But they asked John Williams, I don't know who they is, somebody who is exactly like me, was like, hey, why'd you do it in the tuba instead of the French horn when it's written in the French horn register? And Williams responded by saying he wanted it to sound, quote, a little more threatening. So like it was on purpose, the way that it was like not quite right, you know?
Yeah.
When he first demonstrated his idea to Spielberg, playing just the two notes on a piano, Steven Spielberg laughed because he thought he was kidding. Interestingly enough, Williams saw similarities between Jaws and pirate movies. At other points in the score, he evoked pirate music, which he called primal but fun and entertaining. And it's got that like seafaring kind of feel.
I see it. Yeah.
Right? You can hear it.
Totally.
And calling for rapid percussive string playing, the score contains echoes of La Mer by Claude Debussy, as well as, I don't know if it's Debussy or Debussy.
I always
Is it a
say
liquid
Debussy,
you? Debussy.
but I don't know. I love
Claude
him,
Debussy.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you never.
So it contains references to La Mer by Debussy, as well as Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring, which, I mean, the man's a genius.
Yeah, he is.
It's iconic.
What can I say?
Yep. And the soundtrack was released in 1975 and did well. And I'm sure that, Steph, that you have some things to say about how well this movie did money-wise in general.
Oh, right. So Jaws is considered the first summer blockbuster, and with good reason. It made a staggering $474.7 million worldwide.
That's insane.
Especially because the production budget of Jaws was nothing. This was not a super duper expensive big budget movie to make. So when I say it made back its money, it made back so much money. That had never happened before, that a huge blockbuster made that much worldwide.
Insane. It's a staggering amount of money.
Yes. And it's still pretty high up. If you adjust for inflation, which kind of changes the ranking of things, it's still pretty high up on the list of like all-time earning movies. So go Jaws.
Go Jaws.
Go Jaws. We love it. And I have some other really fun facts about the making of the film, which I love. Okay. So, number one, we all know the most iconic line from Jaws is, "You're gonna need a bigger boat."
Gonna need a bigger boat.
Yes. Now, that phrase originated as a catchphrase on the set of Jaws because the crew had to deal with like a bunch of problems. The boat wasn't big enough to pull the production barge because when you film out in the middle of the water, there needs to be a production barge because you need to have all your equipment. You need to have the cameras off of the boat. Food. Yes.
Bathrooms.
Yes. And
Video
the
village.
Shark. Yes. And the big mechanical shark, Bruce, malfunctioned left, right, and center.
And who was Bruce named after?
I don't know.
Steven Spielberg's lawyer.
That's so funny. Yes, so "You're gonna need a bigger boat" was like a production joke that ended up in the movie, and I love that. The writer of Jaws, which if you're unaware, Jaws was a book first written by Peter Benchley. He makes a cameo as the news reporter.
I didn't know that. Fun.
Yeah. So that's, if you go back and watch, the news reporter is the writer of the original story.
I love that.
Fun. Steven Spielberg also makes a cameo in the movie. He is the voice of the Amity Island dispatcher.
It's true.
Who calls Quint's boat, the orca. Fun.
Yay.
Also, a fun fact that I feel like a lot of people know this about Jaws, but it's worth mentioning. The shark in Jaws doesn't appear until an hour and 21 minutes into the 2-hour film.
Isn't that crazy?
Wild.
It
When you
could
think
not
back,
work, but it works so well.
oh, it's so effective.
Ooh,
And it actually happened due to like the mechanical shark was very difficult to work with. It malfunctioned a lot. They had to shoot around the shark not working. So they did it because of a problem on set, but it ended up being really effective for
huge
storytelling.
blessing. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a blessing
absolutely.
in disguise. So it just goes to show, those kinds of restrictions can end up being really helpful artistically. It's
We've talked about it a lot about like the Jaws effect of when
yeah,
something's so much scarier when you don't show it or when you show it
totally.
sparingly. Like your
That opening
imagination is just
image.
when the shark first appears, when he's throwing chum into the
Oh, and he's
water.
looking at the camera.
Yes, and it appears
I
behind him.
lo-
It is such a great, effective scare.
Yeah, it
And
is.
even though the animatronic isn't great, but in that moment, because it's the
Oh,
first
it's
time and
so
because of the way
good.
it's shot, it is so powerful.
It's so clever that, yeah, it's an animatronic. It's the 70s. It doesn't look that real or that scary like the
Mhm.
mechanical shark, but because it's a little out of focus, it's like right behind his head.
And it's so big. Like
Yeah.
you spend the whole movie being like, okay, this thing is like a behemoth. Like this thing is huge. This
Yeah.
thing is terrifying. Your imagination's filling in all the gaps.
Yeah.
And then when you finally see it, that thing is huge and terrifying. Its mouth is massive. Like it really lives
Yeah.
up to the anticipation.
Totally, totally. Um, it's it's so effective. It's so scary. It's so good. Da 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 da.
And I love the way that
Yeah.
they like to show when the shark was approaching later. They came up with the idea for the barrels, and it's really interesting. My friend Mark, who I
Love.
wanted to have come on and talk, but he's very busy staging a show right now.
Oh, of
He's
course.
like a genius about this movie, and he always pointed out the use of yellow in this movie, and like how
Cool.
effective the use of yellow and red are, because Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg gave an order that red was to be used very sparingly so that when blood
Okay.
appeared, it was really, really effective.
Clear. Yeah.
Mhm.
What about yellow?
I can't remember what Mark said about yellow. um, I
Mark,
guess
what did you?
I think he said it was like a warning. Um,
That would make sense.
yeah, and
Isn't the
like
kid's floaty yellow that gets
yep,
eaten?
and
Am I
and
making that up?
the barrels at the end
Yes.
because they shoot these
Yes.
barrels into the shark. So when the barrels are approaching, you know the shark is approaching, and somehow
Yeah.
that is so much
It's
scarier than
so
seeing
much
the
worse.
fin. Like
Yes. The barrels, the dock.
the dock really scares me
So scary.
when they're trying to get back in time.
That's the
Oh, it's
worst part for
so.
me.
I agree. It's the scariest. Well, there's the jump scare in the boat under the
Oh,
water,
the
which
jump
is
scare
just yeah.
is that Alex, how much would someone have to pay you to go down in that cage?
That one, my couldn't be me. Lord. The answer is no amount of
No
money.
amount. Ditto. Ditto. Absolutely no amount. I will not be a
Absolutely
hero.
not. I will not be a hero. Somebody else can do it. I will be Ellen Brody. I'll watch the kids and I will
Yep.
be encouraging
Yep.
and I will wear cool, sassy bandanas.
Oh, she really does.
Mhm.
A couple more fun little facts. So the opening scene took 3 days to shoot. Now, I was really interested in how they filmed that opening scene with Chrissy, I think her name is.
Chrissy.
Chrissy. Oh, sorry, Chrissy.
Sorry,
Someone had to be the
Chrissy.
first. Um, I just think
To be
that
the
is
first.
such an yeah. It's such an effective opening scene because you immediately know the feeling. You know you have something creeping in the shadows that you need to be
Mhm.
scared of, and you know that people are gonna get eat.
They're gonna get
And
got.
to achieve the like jolting motions of the shark attacking her, they attached a harness and cables to her legs, and they
Oh
had crew
God.
members pull her back and forth. You know what I'm
Ugh.
talking about when you see her getting pulled in the water?
Yes, I do.
So they had like cables and crew were under like yanking her.
That sounds scary.
Isn't that so? Her scared face is for real, for real. Because that is a scary feeling.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't even like someone touching me when we're in the water, to be
No.
honest. I'm like, get off
Every
me.
time I'm like, it's a shark, it's a shark.
hmm By
Yeah.
the way, she was played by stunt woman turned actress Susan Blackline. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
she was
Susan
great.
Blacklinney. And
Mhm.
she was cast because, well, one, stunt woman, and two, she was
Yeah.
willing to appear nude.
Yep. That I honestly always forget that she appears nude in the beginning, and I'm
Me
always like,
too. It's
wow,
kind of
that's
unnecessary.
it is unnecessary. It is because if you're in a bathing suit, I think it achieves the same silhouette.
Or if it's implied that you're skinny dipping. You know what I mean?
True.
We could
True.
see her feet and the suit drop or something.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But
I
it
have
was 1975 summer blockbuster, and
yeah, very 70s.
yeah,
Um so also Quint, who's one of my favorite characters, such an
fascinating.
interesting, yeah. Shaw based his performance on a Martha's Vineyard native fisherman named Craig Kingsbury, who's not an actor, but he did appear in the film as Ben Gardner. And he helped Shaw with his accent, and he told him a bunch of sea stories that
I love
happened to
that.
him. And Quint incorporated that and improvised some of the dialogue given from that real fisherman.
I
Is that
love
fun?
that. Yeah,
Me
because
too.
I really love that because I grew up on Nantucket, which is right next door to
Yes.
Martha's Vineyard. We're very competitive with Martha's Vineyard. Boo Martha's Vineyard. But like that culture is very real and those
Yes.
people exist.
Totally.
And
Because it feels totally made up and old school and like that those people wouldn't be there, but they are.
no, they are. They still are now.
Yeah.
And they have it's so funny. There's an accent that is like it's considered like old Nantucket, and it's sort of like a
Mm.
really, really strong New England accent that a certain generation of like fishermen have. It's
That's so
really
funny.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that they
Um
used a bunch of like Las Vegas. What
native
am I trying to say?
Las
Martha's Vineyard.
Vegas.
A bunch of Martha's Vineyard locals to like
Yeah.
stack the cast.
Yeah, I love it. Um so also, I think it's interesting about the ratings of Jaws. People talk about this a lot. So back then, Jaws was PG. PG.
That's insane.
Imagine. Um, it was initially rated R, but some of the like gruesome frames, they like there was a severed leg. Um, the the severed leg thing was trimmed down. That was longer initially. So it had been rated R.
I don't
Then
like
when they
any of the severed stuff.
I don't like a limb. I don't like a
No, I don't
limb.
like entrails.
Me neither.
Mm.
Me neither. But yeah, after they trimmed that down, then it was given a PG rating because PG-13 was created for a different Spielberg movie, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yay.
So it was still Steven Spielberg that created the
Yeah, he's just
PG-13
out here changing the game all over the place.
all over the place.
By the
But
way,
yeah,
Steph, do you know
PG.
how old he was when he directed this film?
Please don't tell me.
It's gonna upset you.
Was it 20s?
This was his second theatrical film. He directed The Sugarland Express, which was his first, and then he
Right.
directed this, and he was 26 years
Goodbye.
old.
Goodbye. See you never. Goodbye.
See, never. Like, how dare he be that talented
Truly though,
and
and so
skilled?
creative.
Very creative.
Like at 26, I would never have the gusto to be running a set in that way,
No.
you know?
And it's not just that. He overhauled the entire plot of the film. So the book, I don't know
Yeah.
if you've read the book.
I
I
haven't.
skimmed it
Okay.
at the library. In the
At the
book,
library.
Ellen Brody and Richard Dreyfuss's character Hooper. Oh my
Yeah.
god! I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off.
No, that's okay.
I'm so popular, you guys.
I'm just really cool.
It's my mom. It's Paul and my mom. Um, the in the book, Ellen Brody and Hooper have an affair. Why? Who's to say?
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. The third act of the book, much like the third act of the movie, is the out to
Yeah.
sea stuff, and that's what Spielberg really liked. And he asked Robert Benchley for permission to like
To change
overhaul the first part. And he was the one who
Okay.
added like that that Brody is afraid of water, and that he's like he's from a big city, so coming to a small
Oh,
seaside town would actually be a little frightening for him. And like
yeah.
he worked with Robert Shaw to kind of craft Quint, and Shaw ended up having a huge amount to do with like how he expressed himself, and the
Okay.
thing of him being in the World War II wreck, which by the way is a true story. Don't
I
go read
know.
about it. It
I
is
know.
very upsetting. You think reading about the Titanic was bad? Ooh,
That if you are into gruesome, scary, true historical events, you should go read about the USS Indianapolis. Indianapolis.
yeah.
If you have any fear of water, don't do it.
Sharks, humanity,
Hu-
don't,
Humanity.
disasters, don't don't read about it.
Yep.
They
Lord of the
wrote,
Flies.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
They, along with a couple of other of the screenwriters, came up with the monologue together, but Robert Shaw really had the last
Oh,
pass at it because he's a playwright.
yeah, he's awesome.
And that monologue is amazing.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, it's so effective.
Yep.
Um, and so scary.
So
So
scary.
sad.
Very upsetting. I love
Yes.
that whole scene though where they're getting drunk
Me
together.
too.
It's so good.
It's so good.
We couldn't
Um,
have that if Brody and Hooper were like love
no,
rivals. We couldn't have that.
no,
Throw it away.
that wouldn't make any. I can't get over how much I disagree with
I
that.
know it's a terrible. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like, all right, in the book maybe it made sense, but in
Maybe,
this
yeah,
movie it makes none.
totally, totally. Um, yeah, the very last fun fact I have that I think is really fun is that the clapboards, the sticks that they use. So if you guys don't know what a clapboard is, I'm sure you do, but it's the thing when you see people go
And
like
Mark,
and mark and they write, scene one, take whatever, and then they click it. Their clapboard had shark.
like teeth.
Yeah, I think it had like the flat edges were replaced with the sharp set of teeth to make like a teeth clicking sound.
Ah,
Isn't that fun?
it's fun.
I think that's fun.
I like it too. That makes me want to do that.
To have like a little teeth clapboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
regardless of whether or not there's a shark in my movie.
yeah. Who cares?
Who cares? Um,
And there you go.
yeah, we could truly do fun facts about this movie all day because there's a
We
million
could.
documentaries and like articles about it, oral histories. Definitely go read it. It's all super interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I did think it was interesting that Steven Spielberg has said that his rewrite of Richard Dreyfuss's character was to sort of make him a little more like himself.
That is
It was his
interesting.
sort of like, which we has come up before. Remember when we did Jurassic Park and we found
Yeah.
that he had really wanted to cast and mold John Hammond to be kind of like
Yes.
him? It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
It is.
A little
And I think
trademark.
yeah. And I think it's effective because it really does give a grounded heart to those characters. Like they just feel really filled out.
That to me is Steven Spielberg's greatest strength because he did the
Yeah.
same thing with the Jurassic Park book. The books are good, but what he does is he takes these people, simplifies everything to
Yeah.
the core beats in
Of
everyone, and
storytelling.
then just like earnestifies everything and is like,
Yeah.
what do these people want? What is the arc we want to watch them achieve?
Totally.
How can we root for them? How can we root against? Like he just
Mm-hmm.
knows how to do that to craft a slam dunk of like an hour and 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
100%. Totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, I wanted to start out by asking you, a Nantucket original. Um, do you feel like you have a certain connection to this movie being from an island town like this? And do you think that there's some truth behind that, like the mayor being like, well, we need the summer, to work. We need the money from the summer vacationers, like stuff like that. Do you connect to that?
Sure do. We went through it
Okay.
with COVID. We went through it with
Oh,
COVID. It
interesting.
wasn't one guy, but tourism is Nantucket's primary moneymaker. It
Right.
was whaling in the, I used to work at the Whaling Museum, so I could talk about this for 45 minutes. But
I'm
in the 1800s, whaling was we were the whaling capital of the world, which
sorry.
we were taught was a cool thing. And then I left the island and talked to other people, and they were like, that's
That's
terrible.
horrible. Yeah.
And I was like, I guess it is. But we were taught that it was
Yeah.
very like an achievement.
Okay.
But so we were the whaling hub where the ships would depart from. I mean, Moby Dick, the ship leaves from Nantucket.
Right.
And then when whaling died out as an industry, there was a big lull,
Yeah.
and we were kind of economically destitute. And then
Mm-hmm.
in the turn of the century, tourism sprang up as the industry. That's when resorts were built and
Got
the
it.
summer crowd began being the moneymaker for the island, which is still true today. I mean, there
Yeah.
are people on Nantucket who, a lot of people on
Yeah.
Nantucket actually will work 90 hours a week all summer from Memorial Day to Labor Day. They will just
Wow.
work and work and work and not sleep, and
Yeah.
then not work the rest of the year because they've
Mhm.
made so much money from the tourism industry that goes away
Yeah.
in the fall. So
Yeah.
there's this mindset of like, you got to make your bag now because the winter's going to be long.
Yeah.
And that is very present in this. And I understand it because it's true.
Yeah.
However, you know what else is bad for the economy? People dying from shark attacks.
You're not wrong.
You know what's bad for the economy? People dying from COVID in huge amounts on this tiny little island.
Right.
I remember when COVID first hit, everybody was like, including me, we were like, do not go, don't go. Because
Yeah, don't come vacation here.
all the rich people who have houses there were like, oh, COVID is lasting longer than 2 weeks. We're going to go ride it out on the island. And everybody was like, please don't.
Can you not?
We didn't have an
Yeah.
ICU. We don't, like, at our hospital, we don't have an ICU. We have one cottage hospital. We have to fly off anybody who's critical.
Right.
To Boston. It's a whole thing. And we were begging the rich people to stay away because we just didn't have the
Yeah.
infrastructure to deal with it. And it was for the first 2 years of COVID, it was an ongoing battle of like, should we cancel the 4th of July fireworks? Should we have the fair? You know, like,
Yeah.
and on the Facebook group, it was just gnarly. And
Yeah.
I was very much of the mindset that like it would be much worse for the economy to have a like mass disabling event than
You would
to
think.
hold off for 1 year. But
Right.
who's to say? The mayor in this movie is incredibly frustrating.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember when COVID was happening at the very beginning, there were a lot of memes that were like, we knew that this was going to happen because in the second Jaws
Jaws.
movie, he's still the mayor. After everything that happened, he's still
And you know
in
what?
charge.
That's kind of accurate
Mm-hmm.
that he would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a soft spot for the mayor because the actor Murray Hamilton was a really, really nice guy, and like his wife was
Oh.
sick when he was shooting the film, and like he
Oh.
was famously like a nice man, but like,
Oh.
man, the mayor pisses me off. Does he piss you off,
Oh.
Steph?
Oh. Horrible. Horrible.
That scene where they're on the little ferry boat, it's all one take.
Oh my
And
god.
the camera's just still,
And
and
then
they're
it
just
swings,
talking, and it's
yeah.
swinging behind. Oh, it's very effective, but
Very
like,
good.
that's so
He
infuriating.
is so annoying. It's one of those things that you know the minute that character is introduced where he's gonna stand on things.
Mm-hmm.
But you also know as a viewer, because you were shown Chrissy in the beginning, that he's so wrong that people are so screwed if they go in the water.
So
And
screwed.
you're just like, no, no, please make a better choice.
Please.
And
I know
he
every time I
doesn't.
watch it, I'm like, it's like there are these signpost moments. It's like when I reread The Crucible every year, and part of the
Do you?
fun, the anguish fun of
Yeah.
reading that over and over again is there are these pivotal moments where a different choice could be made.
Could have been made. Yep.
And you're like, maybe this time.
Now maybe it'll change.
Maybe it'll change.
You know what, the one that gets me about him that I just can't get over is when he like goes and leans over his friend. He's like, "Why aren't you swimming?
Okay.
Why aren't
They're
you in
already
the
at the
water?"
beach. They're
Yeah, I
buying the
know.
ice cream. They're participating
there.
in the economy. Why do they need to be in the water?
Agreed.
He should go to jail for that.
He's like, Come on, get in there. Get in there." He is the one that made people go in the water. They would have happily sat on the beach and ate their ice cream.
Conspiracy theory, he's working with the shark.
Hey now.
Hey now. This is what
This
dreams
is
are
what
made
dreams
of.
are made of. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, horrifying. I also was curious to ask you, would you consider Jaws a horror movie, a monster
Ooh.
movie,
Ooh.
or its own category?
Great question. I think it's a horror. I think it's a horror monster movie in the sense of
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Because it's horror in the sense that it utilizes suspense
yeah.
effectively to to be frightening. It's a very
Yeah.
scary movie. When I watch it on my couch, I
It's
pull my feet
scary.
up off the ground because I'm like, what if the shark can get it? Like, it's scary. And the
Yeah.
jump scare down in the shipwreck
Oh
gets me every
my.
time,
It's really
actively
scary.
hurts my chest. Like,
Yeah, me too.
I think I would call it a horror movie in the same way that a lot of Hitchcock films are horror movies.
Okay,
I
I
would not
agree.
attribute it to like the modern contemporary definition of horror.
Agreed.
I think it's more of a monster movie in that sense.
Yeah,
What
me
about
too.
you?
I agree because it's one of those things. To me, it's not a horror movie in terms of I'm not watching Jaws to get scared. Like I'm not watching it for the point
No.
of I just want to like feel like ah, I'm scared. I
Yeah,
there's one moment, you're right, the shipwreck moment is the one that I'm like jumping and
that's the jump
horrified.
scare. Yeah.
The rest of it, I would say they're not even jump scares. It's just a feeling of being unsettled. Like you
Yeah.
watch Jaws because it's a really, really good movie with great lines and great characters. And
Yes,
I don't,
exactly.
yeah, I don't necessarily define modern horror movies that way.
Hmm.
Like I don't watch modern horror movies for the character
No,
building.
you go for the scares. You go to
Yeah,
see the scares.
right.
And
So,
you
yeah,
don't go, you're exactly right. You don't go to Jaws for the scares. You go for the
no.
characterization and the storytelling. And there's also some good scares.
And there's some good scares. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of a monster movie.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
I feel the same way about like Godzilla and King Kong. Like I don't
Hmm.
expect to be like jump scared by that, but I expect to be like worried.
Yes. Yeah, King Kong is a great example, actually, where like
Yeah.
a lot of the action takes place in the second half. And
Exactly, yeah.
it's exciting to see that spectacle, but the principal reason you're watching is to see what all the people are going to do.
Exactly.
Although, that
Exactly.
being said, Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg famously said to the studios that he didn't want to cast like big stars, like
Yeah.
a movie star,
Okay.
because he wanted the shark to be the star.
And it was.
And it is. It is. The casting is great, don't you think?
Oh, oh
It's
my gosh.
perfect.
Fantastic. And when I was looking up the actors, I noticed that a lot of them didn't really do much else other than Jaws.
Oh, interesting. Well, Richard Dreyfuss has done.
Except for Richard Dreyfuss, he's like,
Richard Dreyfuss did this, and then he did Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then
yes.
he was supposed to do Jurassic Park, but he had already gotten into some mysterious fight with Steven Spielberg on the set of Close Encounters that we want to know all about, but we can't
We
find
need to
any more
know.
information about,
We need to
and
know.
refused to work with him again.
Stephen, tell us the
And
tea.
I'm going to tell you this right now, based on everything I've heard Richard Dreyfuss say about anything, I am 100% on Steven Spielberg's side. Richard Dreyfuss sounds like a dick.
Does he? I've
Oh,
never read any interviews with
I'm going to
him.
read you
Sorry,
something he
Richard.
said just this year. Hang on.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you exactly what he just said. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. He said, on the new Oscars diversity rules.
Uh-huh.
So you already know it's going to be bad.
I'm scared.
Okay, so the Oscars came out, the Academy Awards came out with some diversity rules where films have to meet at least 2 of 4 benchmarks, which cover, among other things, whether the lead actors are from underrepresented groups or if at least 30% of the cast and crew comes from these groups. Basically, they were
Okay.
saying you can't make movies that are staffed entirely by white people anymore,
Yeah.
which fine by 30%, fine by me. Like,
Yeah, that's not
that's
much.
very small.
Yeah.
And when he was talking to a PBS reporter, he said that they, quote, make him vomit. And when they asked why, he
What?
said, because this is an art form. And then here we go. This is the quote.
I'm worried.
It's also a form of commerce and it makes money, but it is an art. And no one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is. Again, this is just about making sure that the staff isn't entirely white.
Got it.
Apparently, that is a current idea of what morality is. And then he said, I don't think there is a minority or majority in this country that has to be catered to like that. He then cited a bit of history regarding Laurence Olivier being, quote, the last white actor to play Othello, referring to the 1965 film in which the British actor performed in blackface. Dreyfuss praised the performance, saying Olivier played the role, quote, brilliantly. And then here's the kicker, quote, am I being told I will never have a chance to play a black man? Is someone else being told that they're not Jewish, they shouldn't play The Merchant of Venice? Are we crazy?
He didn't
the
say
interviewer
that.
pushed back and said, okay, well, there's a difference between the question of representation and who's allowed to represent other groups. And in the case of blackface, given the history of, slavery and the sensitivities around black racism, Richard Dreyfuss said there shouldn't be because it's patronizing. He thinks he should be able to play Othello, Steph, and that makes me on Steven Spielberg's side.
Sorry, I'm in shock.
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone legitimately saying the words, "So what? I'll never play a black person?"
He said it to PBS.
Richard, what the fuck?
So that really, unfortunately,
I'm in shock. Sorry,
no,
I don't know how to
he's-
respond to that.
I know, and he's said
It's
stuff
so
about like
weird.
Me Too, and he
For
he
fuck's
just
sake.
seems like a dick to me.
So what
And
you're
so
saying
my
is he's as
personal,
annoying as his character.
well, I also find his
Josh.
character a little annoying.
I do
Do you
too.
find Hooper annoying?
Oh my god, so demeaning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I don't like
do.
Hooper.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't
Yeah.
like Quint either. I'm sorry. No. Okay. All right. Okay.
I disagree.
Hold on.
We're in a fight.
I think that if I knew Quint personally, I would find him very frustrating.
Oh,
That's
well,
what I mean
yeah.
by that. I think he's a
Okay.
great character.
Okay.
I just don't
Okay.
think that he would like me. And I don't think I would like him.
Like in what way? He'd be like,
He's
well,
just,
this is crass, but he'd be like, "You're a pussy."
yeah, I do. And I'm just like, all right, not to be all millennial here, but I'm a Ravenclaw. And I'm a really big fan of thinking things through, being very analytical, approaching things from a strategy standpoint.
I'm crying that you actually said that. We're talking about Jaws.
I'm 32. What do you want from me?
You're right.
I find the way that he is like, you just jump in, and if you don't, you're a pussy. Like I find that attitude to be unhelpful.
I find it unhelpful and also comforting
Interesting. Say more.
because it's kind of what I'm used to. And I'm not saying that my parents are like Quinn, but I'm definitely used to like how we were just talking about when I'm sick, I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like
Yeah.
as I'm sweating profusely.
Yeah.
That is kind of like my vibe sometimes.
Do you of the three men, who do you
Yeah.
identify with most? Quinn?
Well, no, because no, because I think Quint has been through so much more than I have ever been through that
He
it
has
would
been
be
through
hard.
a lot.
It would be hard for me to ever say like, oh yeah, I'm similar to Quint, someone who witnessed like cannibalism and shark attacks for many days in dark waters
Yeah.
after delivering a bomb. That's not really close to home for me.
You don't
I would
personally relate to that?
No, but I would say I do relate to being annoyed by like by Hopper.
It's Hooper, isn't it?
Hooper? It's
Oh my
Hooper.
God.
I'm thinking of Hopper because of
Dennis Hopper?
Stranger Things. I
Oh,
think.
you're not thinking of Hopper because of A Bug's Life.
Oh, sorry. I know that's your man.
No, it's not. Let's not.
No, Hooper. Like I identify with being kind of annoyed by him thinking that he's better than someone who's done this their whole life, you know? Like
Yeah,
that
because
that
he
is,
has,
yeah.
well, he has all the smart.
And
The
he's
thing
really
about Hooper,
privileged.
he is really privileged, but it's also really infuriating. This goes back to the conversation we were having about Scar. It's really infuriating to be
Yeah.
intellectually smarter than the people around you, but to be belittled because you're not as tough.
That's fair. And see, like that's fair enough too.
Mhm.
So I really don't connect to any of them hardcore. like maybe I kind of understand the shark.
You're
the most.
okay. Well, okay.
Because hear me out.
Well, we're rooting for the orcas.
I'm rooting for the orcas.
Hell yeah.
No, because like he doesn't know any better. He's just a killer shark. That's how he was made.
That could be applied to serial killers, no?
Oh. Okay, I'm not a serial killer. But I mean,
Like it's not their fault. It's how God made them.
like maybe he's just well, oh god, no, put them in jail. But I'm saying like maybe he's just a silly boy that doesn't have that that doesn't have good control of his jaw. And he doesn't really mean
You think
I think,
maybe he's asking for dental help?
yeah, like
He's
maybe
just going, guys, look, is there something in my back teeth?
yeah, and he just accidentally swallows people.
Oh.
I don't
Well, he doesn't
know.
swallow people. He just sort of fucks them up and leaves them.
You're right. All
I
right.
think that's a very
I
generous
take it all
take.
back.
And no, you could be right. You could be right.
No, I don't know. I truly don't identify to any of them because Hopper's infuriating and annoying. Quint
Yeah.
is like the quintessential like toxic masculinity guy.
See what you did?
Quintessential.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like toxic masculinity to the max. And then
I identify with Brody.
yeah, I think
I'm going to
he's
tell you why.
yeah, go ahead.
Because Brody, I love Ellen Brody. I love them together.
Yeah.
They won my I Ship It award.
Totally. They're a great couple.
I love their marriage.
Yeah.
But she is very much like, it's going to be fine. It's going to work out. Oh, like even when she's worried about something, she still sort of has a much more level-headed approach. Whereas the way that he responds to this stuff is the exact same way I do, which is like, we have to assume that it won't. Like,
Honestly,
we have
yeah.
to be pessimistic about this in order to prepare. Like, that is how I run around seeing the world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I find it
That's too funny.
very
Yeah, yeah.
frustrating when the people around me are like, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, you have no way of knowing that. So let's
That's
prepare
fair.
for in case it isn't.
You know what? That makes complete sense now that you said it. And I guess I also identify with he's like super scared of water and
Yeah.
he's a nervy boy.
He's a nervy boy, and I too am a nervy boy.
And I too am a nervy boy.
We're all nervy boys here.
We're all nervy boys, but I also identify with but he still gets on the boat, you know?
He gets on the boat, exactly. He does
Oh, even
the
like
right thing.
I'm a nervy girl, but I still I'm trying to think of like a cool thing I've done.
No, you are very brave. You face
Yeah.
fears all the time.
Oh well, oh.
You do. I
Right
mean,
back at
it's
you.
not getting on a ship to go shoot a shark, but
No.
on day-to-day life, you face little fears, you know?
Yeah, yeah, same to you. See, so maybe we
Thanks.
are okay, we're like Brody.
We're like Brody. Also, he's
Killing it.
hot.
Ah, you want to know my only works in pretend?
Yeah, I do.
Very, very, very attractive, very, very doing the right thing, always cop. Man.
Cop. Yeah, only in pretend.
Only pretend.
We're an ACAB podcast. Sorry, guys. Agreed. And for some reason, have you seen Jaws 2?
No, I haven't.
It's hilarious.
Is
I
it?
saw it for the first time last summer, and it's a very fun watch. Something's going on with they gave him a glow up in the second movie because
Did they?
I think he's attractive in the first one. I
Yeah,
think him
me
and Ellen are
too.
like a very attractive couple.
Oh my god, they are.
Super hot people. But in the second one, I think they tighten his uniform or something because all of a sudden he's looking real snacky. And I can't figure out what
Okay.
they've done, but it's something has changed because
He
when I look at him in his uniform
yeah.
in the first movie, nothing. In the
Okay.
second movie, I was like, what's going on there? What's the deal? Am I attracted to a cop? Oh no.
Yeah, and the answer is yeah,
Yeah.
but only in pretend.
Only in pretend.
No, he isn't the actor. The actor was like a pretty competitive boxer. He
Roy
was, like, a
Scheider.
yeah.
And he played Bob Fosse in All That Jazz.
Yes. He's great.
Love him. R.I.P.
Can we talk about the dolly zoom?
Did it win your Look at You Making Your Movie award?
Of course.
I had such a hard time picking that one because there's so many great moments, but that, I mean,
It's sick.
so iconic, so
Iconic.
effective. I wanted to know what you thought, like as a
Yeah.
filmmaker, as somebody who's done, you've done camera work and
A little
you've
bit,
done
yeah.
storyboarding and things like that.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that shot? How do
Oh
you feel
my-
about the dolly zoom in general? Have you used it in your work? Like,
Love this question.
tell me all about it.
I think it was a brilliant choice, perfectly executed. It tells the story, and this is what. So I've seen plenty of dolly zooms since.
For anyone
Jaws.
listening who doesn't know what a dolly
Oh,
zoom
yeah,
is,
sorry.
can you explain what it is?
Yes. So essentially, for those of you who do any camera work or are interested in this, a dolly zoom is so the shot in Jaws that's very famous where Captain Brody is sitting in his beach chair. He realizes that a shark attack is happening, and the camera does this pan into his face. And
But it's
it looks
weird.
but it's weird, and it looks like the background's kind of moving. That is a dolly zoom, which Steven Spielberg, I'm fairly sure he kind of made it famous. It has happened in films before that. It was in a French film earlier, but he made it
He
famous and iconic.
iconicized it.
Yes. So how you make that happen, and there's technical reasons why this works, but skipping over that.
Science.
Basically, yeah, science. You put a camera on a dolly, which is a platform that rolls back and forth, or side to side, however you want. It's like a camera on tracks that
Yeah, it's like
moves
a cart on a
smoothly.
track.
Yes. So you for Jaws, and it goes in either direction, and they have different feelings, different
Hmm.
things that happen.
Isn't that so cool?
I
How
know.
you can evoke different feelings just by
Yeah.
doing that. Oh,
Different directions.
movies are great.
It's so great. So for Jaws, what happens is there's a zoom lens on the camera. It starts up really close to Brody's face. And as the dolly moves backwards away from Brody's face, the zoom lens is zooming in on his face.
Hmm.
So the movement of the camera is backwards, but it doesn't feel like it's moving backwards because the zoom lens is zooming in, and it creates this bizarre looking weird shot, and the feeling is that the character is kind of out of sorts.
It's like the feeling of vertigo.
Yes,
Like that's what it feels
exactly.
like to me when I see a dolly zoom. I'm like, that's exactly what vertigo feels like.
Yes,
Not the
totally.
film, the
The feeling.
sensation.
Yeah. And this works in reverse as well, but it has a different connotation. Like when the camera starts far away from the actor and then moves in towards them, it makes it feel like they're kind of like um getting lost in the place that
Ooh,
they're in. It's in Insidious, I think it is a good example of it, but it's scary.
very
And
scary.
I love this technique, especially in Jaws. I think it's the best use of it. Um, it basically just puts you right in the mind of the character. It can't be overused. If you used it more than once in a movie, to me, I'd be like, too
What are we
much.
doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it has to be very punctual. Like,
yeah. But I've never done the technique before. I would love to, but I think you need to be really specific about why. You
yeah,
don't want to do it just because it's cool.
yeah,
It needs to like serve a purpose, and that's what Steven Spielberg is so good at, is every shot serves a purpose.
yes.
And that one really 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 does.
What I love about it is like this is just what goes to show about like why a great director matters is because
Yeah.
they could have just had the camera on him and had him react. They
Yeah.
could like you see it in the script. He Brody realizes that something is happening in the water.
Yeah.
That's probably all that was written in the script. There was no dolly zoom in the script.
No.
So you read that, what do you think? You think, okay, well the actor is going to sell it with their face. And
Yeah.
that's what's so great about having a director who like gives a shit and has a vision is being
Yeah.
like, you know how we can make the audience feel the feeling that he's feeling is
Yeah.
by incorporating the camera work as well. Like that's so cool.
It's so cool. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it rocks.
It rocks.
You know what else is very emotionally effective in this film is
Tell
when
me.
the little boy dies and the mother comes up to Brody and smacks
I
him.
don't like that part.
It's very hard to watch, but it's so
It's really
emotionally
good.
effective. It really just, I think that woman does such an incredible
Oh,
job.
she's amazing.
Her name is Lee Fierro, the actress. She plays Mrs. Kintner.
So good.
Just the rage and grief that's so
Ugh.
present in her in that scene. I just, every time I see it, I'm like, God, she's good.
I know, she really is amazing. It is effective. It's like heartbreaking because you know that Brody wanted to do better than that. Like he
Yeah.
didn't want that to happen, and he knew that that could be an outcome.
Yeah.
And then the guilt that he is left with, and I think that some of
Devastating.
it's deserved, but it's horrible.
Yeah. It's so sad. And then later when he's, home sitting around the table, I love this is also so Spielberg
Yeah.
when because he loves father and son stuff.
I
He loves dad
love
and
that
kid stuff.
part.
But the
Yeah.
part where the kid is doing everything that he's doing.
It's so
And then
sweet.
he goes, give us a kiss.
Yeah.
Because I need it or something like that. It's just so
Yeah.
sweet.
I read that the kid was doing that with the actor that plays Brody, just like for fun between takes, that he was being like a silly kid, and Spielberg saw them doing it and he was like, I love that.
Mm.
Let's like use it. So
It's
cute.
It's so great.
Yeah, it
But
is.
it's also really effective storytelling because it's like my kid is watching what I'm doing. I have to do the
Yeah,
right thing because he's
I
going to learn
know.
from me how to handle things. I
Yeah,
know.
it's
Also,
so sweet.
one of the kids, this is a fun piece of news. This just happened. One of the kids who does the like fake shark attack, remember that part?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I would be so mad if I
Oh
was their
my,
mother.
they
I'd be
would be
like,
grounded.
go round dead.
Yeah.
But one of those kids, they were local Martha's Vineyard kid actors, and one of them just became chief of police. Um,
Full circle.
I know, full circle moment. It was in the
That's
news. It was
fun.
so sweet.
Oh my gosh, hysterical. Those kids, oh my gosh. If that had happened to me, I would have lost my mind.
I would have been so mad.
If someone played that trick on me, so help me.
Not funny.
Not funny.
Not funny.
Not funny.
Nope.
No.
Um, no, I was just going to bring up so you know that my favorite line reading in the world is Billy Zane saying, I put the diamond in the coat. I put the coat on
Put
her.
on her.
But my second favorite
I know
line
what it
reading
is.
is in this movie. Do you know what it is?
Of course I do. A what?
A what?
It's so like out of place in
Oh
a
my
way, but it's
God.
hysterical and I love it.
When they're standing around the tiger shark and they're like, "What is it though? What is it?" And Hooper in his superior way is like,
Yeah.
"It's a tiger shark." And the guy goes, "A what?"
A what?
Like he
It's
really
so
serves it with some
good.
sass.
He does. I love it. It's
So good.
hysterical. I just like I like the idea of Spielberg seeing that and being like, keep that. I love that.
Yeah,
That was
exactly
crazy.
that. Ding ding ding.
It's so good. I love that. He got my this is your moment.
He also got my this is your who else? I mean, come on.
No, yeah, no,
Should we,
that was
should we go
amazing.
to our awards? Should we give out some awards?
Let's give out some
The truth
awards.
is we could talk about how incredible this movie is all day.
Totally, totally. I
Um
mean, it's the best.
oh, can I ask one more question before we
Yeah,
go to awards?
do it.
I know because we've talked about it before how like sometimes lines are cheesy and
Yeah.
sometimes lines are exactly the right amount of cheese to be epic.
Uh-huh.
Like in Jurassic Park when he says, "Welcome to Jurassic
Jurassic
Park."
Park.
And you didn't love
Mhm.
in, Star Wars. When he was like, "I'm Luke Skywalker."
I'm
So
here to
like
rescue you.
it could go either way. How
Yeah.
did you feel about the ending when Roy Scheider said, "Smile, you son of a," and then shot and exploded
Obsessed.
the shark?
I love that.
It's
It's
pretty great,
giving
huh?
Die Hard. It's giving
It's
yeah.
totally giving Die Hard.
Yeah. I
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
yeah. I think it needs to be earned. That's what I've decided about these
Mm,
lines. If the movie has been exquisitely made, if we love the characters and inside we want them to win so bad that they earn a crazy line like that, I'm in. And
yeah.
I think he totally does. Like, they've been through hell. This is his last chance.
Quint's dead.
Quint's gone.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Quint dies
Do you think
in
he
a
deserved
blaze of
that?
glory. Um, I think it was coming from the beginning. I think he's
Yeah,
such a
me
tragic
too.
character that his
Yeah.
redemption, well, maybe not redemption, but like his arc was going to end in him sort of sacrificing himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody deserved it.
I know.
There's no
I
real I mean, the mayor is villainous,
definitely.
but
I
you
think
can
he's
sort
like
of see his point. He doesn't want anyone to die.
yeah, yeah. And he
Um,
definitely like feels some sense of like regret and horror by the
Probably
end.
not enough.
Not enough. Not enough.
But like I don't think any deaths are earned in this movie because like
No.
there's no Gennaro moment like in Jurassic Park where he gets eaten off the toilet
Yeah.
because he left the kids. There's no real moment like that
No.
in this.
No. Yeah, it's true. But no, I love that line.
Me too.
I think it's great.
And then when they're swimming back to the shore, which to me is so scary because I'm like, what about other sharks? Like
That's
they
what
have
I
to like swim all the way back to
Yes,
shore.
this would be me the whole time holding on to the thing. Ah,
Oh my god.
something touched me.
Just pulling your feet up.
Yeah.
Like oh god, it's just the scariest thing I can imagine.
Also,
I'm so scared
imagine
of sharks.
me too. Imagine being Hopper waiting down there watching that shark swim around
Jesus
from under the
Christ.
water. I think about that all the
No.
time.
All the
That he like hid behind the seaweed or whatever in the reef, but you are watching that thing swim around for like a long time.
time. Scary. Sharks are scary. But I
Scary.
like that moment when they're paddling back because it feels to me like the end of Casablanca. When Rick
Yeah.
and Louis are walking kind of off into the distance and
I
he says,
think it's a
Louis, I think this is the
yeah.
beginning of a beautiful friendship. Like I
You're
think it has
right.
that vibe.
It does have that vibe. I like it.
Um,
Um,
do you remember, speaking of Quint,
do you
um,
remember?
the Quinty first night in September?
Whoa.
Whoa. Do you remember when Donald Trump was running for president?
Sorry, that was just sorry. That just came out.
And Mike Huckabee
Yeah,
was on Megyn
unfortunately.
Kelly. And this was before all of the Republicans had decided they had to be his bitch. So Megyn Kelly was actually
Mm-hmm.
criticizing him.
LOL.
And Mike Huckabee was like, he's like Quint in Jaws, you know, he knows the problem and he's ready to go in and take care of it. And Megyn Kelly was like, Quint dies. And he was like, what? And he's like,
I
yeah,
haven't seen
Quint
that.
dies in that movie. He doesn't solve the problem. And Mike Huckabee was like, well, you know what I mean.
Ah, that. Wow. Did you see? Sorry, this is off topic. It's just reminding me. Did you see the memes of Oh my God, what's his fuck that went to the Barbie movie and was like, I hated this.
Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro. Did you see those memes? It's so funny.
No, well, I mean,
Oh,
yes, I've been reading all about it. And
yeah.
yeah, and oh no, was it Matt Gates or Ben Shapiro? Because they
No, it was
both
Ben
did.
Shapiro.
Okay,
Oh,
because
well,
Matt Gates went with his wife, Ginger, sexual predator Matt Gates went and was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's so woke, but I'm gonna see it because Margot Robbie is hot. And then
He's
his
like not
wife,
worth
when
even
he's,
like a minute of air.
I agree. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna say, but
yeah,
Ginger Gates, his wife, I can't believe
yeah.
he's married, was
Shocker.
like, I was so disappointed to see that this doll that I looked up to so much didn't have anything about faith and family values. And I was like, Barbie? But
Girl!
sorry. Barbie, the doll that was invented to show little girls that they didn't have to be mothers. Barbie, who would never, ever, ever get married and always just have a boyfriend and have a million careers and have her own house. That Barbie, that's the one you wanted to be more about like marriage?
I'll tell you what Barbie I have not seen. Mother Mary Barbie.
Sure haven't.
I haven't seen Nun Barbie.
Where's Jesus Barbie?
Where's Jesus Barbie?
If Barbie could be anything, why can't she be Jesus?
Well, now you're talking Sam. I'm sorry to everyone in the South. I don't think
So
that you're all
sorry.
like this.
That was real stereotypical of us.
That was
We apologize.
stereotypical and we're sorry.
Back to Jaws. Let's give out some awards.
Let's do it.
What do you got? What do you got?
So for my Hey, It's That Guy award, I already mentioned it in my fun facts, but it's when the writer shows up as the reporter, Peter Benchley.
It's a really good one.
A
Mine was a
fun
little
cameo.
different.
Okay.
The guy who played the
Sorry, what?
I just had an episode. The guy who played the deputy
Okay.
was played by Jeffrey Kramer, who
Uh-huh.
I recognized immediately as the motorist from Clue. He's the one who's like, my car broke down outside and I was wondering if I could use your phone. And one of them is my old boss from Funk. That Jeffrey Kramer.
I love Clue.
I love Clue. We got to talk about it this fall.
We have to. I'm obsessed with Clue.
So that was him. And he also went on to be a huge like television producer, which I thought was very cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a good one.
I gotta
Very
know who got your look of the movie.
My Luke of the
There
movie.
are some choices, I think.
Yep. I gave it to Matt Hopper, his opening look, because I said it literally looks like he could be in Brooklyn today right now.
That's exactly what I said with his denim jacket and his beanie.
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
that is men we knew in college.
That's Bushwick.
That's Bushwick. Yeah.
That got
I
my
remember
look.
watching it. Frida, I'm going to call you out here. We were watching it and it was her first time seeing it. And she was like, who's he? She was like,
Who's
I don't know. I kind of like his style.
I agree, Frida.
Yeah, I agree too.
I agree. And then he started talking too much, and I was like,
And
oh.
then zip it.
Who got yours?
I was so torn. I wanted to give it to Brody's uniform in the second movie because of the tightening.
Uh-huh.
However, what I ended up giving it to was Ellen Brody's all blue ensemble when they're in the house and
Oh,
he's like researching sharks. And she's wearing, it's sort of very Gen Z. Like she's wearing these skin tight but flared high waisted denim pants. She's wearing a
yeah.
very cute cropped, like blue, it's almost like a cloud pattern shirt with like a
Yes.
wider
Oh my
collar
gosh, I love
and
this
a little
look.
blue bandana over her hair. And I'm like, summer
Oh,
vibes, girl.
vibes.
Ellen Brody's a
Vibes.
vibe.
She's so stunning.
I
And
also
like,
love when they're sitting around the table late at night
yeah.
and she's wearing the black turtleneck and her blonde hair is all floofy. I like that
Oh,
look
it's so
too.
cute. What's I love when she's like, "Want to get drunk and fool around?"
Me too. I love Ellen Brody. That's why I ship them. I'm like, I think they're happy together.
Yeah, me too.
I think they complement each other. Also,
That
she was
yeah.
played by the wife of Sid Sheinberg, the head of Universal. She was the first actor
Oh.
cast.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Little
Look at you.
nepotiz, but you know what? Paid off. She's great.
She was really good. And all of her looks I would wear.
Yep, me too. Her
100% of
her
them.
strapless black bathing suit with the big hat,
Adorable.
fierce.
Adorable.
Mhm.
Who got Oh wait, so we both gave This Is Your Moment to
Oh,
Awa.
what?
Yeah. Incredible work.
Of course.
Incredible work. Um so you give your I ship it to Brody
Well, I
and Ellen.
almost gave it to Quint and Hooper in a sort of enemies to lovers kind of way
Okay.
because that I just, I love a good enemies to lovers,
Yeah.
but I find them both a little annoying. So I took it away and I gave it to the Brodies.
Okay. I gave it to Quentin the Shark
Interesting.
because I think it's like a will they, won't they?
Okay.
The whole time. Like, he wants that shark
He
and
does.
he wants it now. And he doesn't get the shark, but the shark gets him.
Yeah. That's an interesting, yeah.
And
Okay.
that's my choice. The
And
will
I'm
they,
sticking
won't they?
by it.
The push and the pull.
The Sam and Diane of it all.
That's what I'm saying.
I like that. Okay, good. Who got your straight to therapy?
Oh, the woman whose child got eaten.
Yeah.
Because I feel so bad
It's
for
just
her.
never gonna be okay ever again.
It'll
Like you
it'll
really get the
never
sense.
be okay, but I feel like maybe she definitely needs to talk to someone about it, you know?
Yeah.
And like I'm glad she got a little slap in there because I think that probably was helpful.
Yes, I agree. I
But
wish it was to the mayor,
me
but
too.
it had to happen the way it happened.
I agree. And I just want her to feel a little better, so I'm giving it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave
How
it to
about
the
you?
mayor
Oh,
because
yeah.
he just needs his brain fixed so that he
Yep.
stops killing people.
Um Agreed. There was one point when the mayor like literally had just seen people get eaten by like was pretty sure that there was a problem and was like, get in
Eh,
there.
it's over now. He's full. Yeah.
He's full. He ate. Um,
He ate. Left no crumbs.
I'll tell you what, Bruce ate.
Bruce ate. Um,
Yeah.
did you have a don't go back in the house moment?
Yes, I said chumming the water with blood when there's a shark on the loose.
Well, they were trying to get the shark.
I know, but stop it.
So they succeeded.
No, but like you already saw the shark able to do things that no other shark can do.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna go back out there and you think you in a little dinghy is gonna be
Oh,
fine?
those guys. Though
Yeah.
I thought you meant Brody and the
No.
orca.
Brody.
Those
Brody's
guys,
fine.
that is a good don't go back in
No,
the
the
house
like
moment. What are they?
random guys
In
from
the little
Martha's Vineyard
rowboat or
in the
whatever.
rowboats chumming the water, being like, "This is all fine."
Yeah. Everybody was real stupid in that moment.
Real stupid. So that
Everybody
was
like
mine.
going to sea to get the shark. Stop. Mine was everybody going in the water at the beach when they know that like being able to be peer
Yeah.
pressured into going into the water.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good.
Nah.
You would never. I would
Couldn't be
never.
me.
Couldn't be
No.
me. No.
One thing I do like about myself is that when it comes to objective risk, I cannot be peer pressured.
It's so true. You know what? That is a great quality of yours. You are not able to be peer pressured if you really don't want to do something. It's good.
Can't do it.
I can be peer pressured.
Can you? I've never seen you be peer pressured.
No,
But would you be peer pressured? Okay, so remember when we were at the beach? We were at the beach on Nantucket and there were
We
sharks in the
were.
water. We saw a like 6 foot long hammerhead shark.
We did.
We sure did. And we were not allowed in the water. What if somebody came up to you and was like, Steph, just go in the water?
Oh,
Could you
no.
be peer pressured?
No, no, no. You're
What
right
if
that
it was Wes Anderson?
I'm just kidding. No, you're right that
What if it was
I'm
Luke Wilson? He was like, Steph, you deserve to go in the water.
such a random person to do
I think of someone who we love and trust.
No, you know what it is? If it's actually danger, like if I'm like I'm gonna die right now, I then no.
Yeah.
But if it's like I'm scared, like I'm really scared of heights, for instance.
Right.
But if I'm with a group of people that's doing something that involves me, my knees shaking from, I'll do it anyway.
Well, it depends on the thing, but I've done that too. I've gotten on a roller coaster that I knew I shouldn't.
Yeah.
But in 9 times out of 10, if discomfort or actual threat are on the
Yeah,
line,
then no.
I'm pretty steadfast.
Yeah, it's a good quality, honestly. Did you have what was your couldn't be me? You said it, I feel like.
Oh, it was we had the same one, didn't we? Going down into the shark, into the cage.
Not.
Couldn't be me.
Absolutely not.
Someone else can do that.
Absolutely not. There is no
Hard
way.
pass.
Hard.
You know when white people go out and they for recreation they do things that could kill them?
I do.
That's,
I do.
What are we
It's not
doing?
really-
Getting into a cage like that voluntarily?
Oh my god. The fact that people do that for funsies, for shits and gigs, currently,
Yeah.
today, is
Mhm.
crazy.
You know what I read the other day? I can't remember if I said this on a podcast or not.
Okay.
But you know what I read? Oh
Yeah.
no, it's because I was talking about this movie with Kristen, my friend Kristen, and
Oh,
she
okay.
like loves Shark Week, and she was like, actually, Jaws
Uh-huh.
gave sharks a very bad name because the truth is
It
that
did.
like there are only a couple kinds of sharks that are aggressive, and the rest of them don't want to bother
That's
you. And I'm
actually
like,
true.
that's great. I'm still not going near any.
I was like, I don't care.
I was talking about whales with her, and she was like, yeah, but like what's the whale gonna do to you? I looked it up.
What is it
Sperm
gonna do?
whales. Sperm whales, not
Sperm
only
whales
do
are
they have
nice.
teeth, nobody.
No.
You know why they're not nice? Because my people from Nantucket hunted them for centuries.
Oh, so now they're coming
And they
back.
got big sharp teeth. They
Got
eat
it.
fun fact about sperm whales, they eat giant squid. We know that because we've seen it in their intestines. However, we've never actually seen a battle.
Giant squids are giant.
Yeah. So they have to like
Wait,
fight in
sperm
order to
whale.
eat them. And it's all happened below the dark point in the ocean. So nobody's ever seen it. I know. But here's the thing that had me shaking in my boots. A sperm whale communicates with clicks, and they can click so loud that they can kill a person if they're swimming too close. They can literally vibrate
Sorry.
a person to death.
I'm not laughing because that's funny. I'm laughing because I'm nervous.
This is horrifying.
Yeah.
The ocean is
no,
terrifying, you
it's
guys.
so scary.
It's like outer space. We don't know most of it.
We don't know enough.
Don't mess with it.
I kind of want to. There's a new documentary about the Mariana Trench that I'm sure tons of our
God.
listeners have already watched because you guys
So scared.
watch as much as we do.
Yeah.
But I almost put it on and then I was like,
Do I want to
don't
do
wanna
this to
know.
myself?
I don't want to know.
I'd rather pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'll avoid it.
Yeah.
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 Were there any other awards? Oh, the Look at You Making Your Movie award. Dolly Zoom?
Dolly Zoom, baby. I
So
love it.
good.
I love
It's
it.
so hard to pick because the
there's
raft
a lot.
scene is incredible direction. The Dolly Zoom is incredible direction. The scene where they're all sitting around the table and Quint does his monologue is incredible direction. The
So
moment with the
good.
kid is incredible. The
Yeah.
smile, you son of a bitch, is incredible. Like, also that the shark was originally supposed to die from just like too many wounds, and Steven Spielberg was like, nah, we're gonna explode it. Good choice. I think
Love
I'm
it.
gonna join you and I'm gonna give it to the Dolly Zoom.
Okay.
Iconic, effective, parodied,
good.
referenced.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
It's great. Yay!
And that's Jaws, guys.
And that's done it.
Dun.
Done it.
We don't know entirely what we're going to be bringing you next week because it's a little touch and go with the SAG rules. But we do hope that you'll join us either way. And you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Film Bros Pod. And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Alexandra Wide Eyes.
And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at sturci, STURCI.
That I was really punctuated.
I love an I.
We all love an eye. Um,
I don't know what I'm
that's
saying.
what people
Sorry,
who
guys.
date cyclopses say. I just love an eye.
Ooh, sexy, sexy.
um, anyway, give us
Okay.
a 5-star review if you're enjoying listening. We love reading your comments and getting reviews. And tell your friends to listen. And we'll be back next week. Goodbye, movie lovers. Stay out of the water. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Bye.